let us see the second rule. Did you remember the second rule? What does the second rule states? The second rule states that when a symbol of smaller value is written to the right of a symbol of larger value, add the two values. So in the Roman letter representation, if the smaller value is written to the right of the symbol of a larger value, what we have to do? We have to add the two values. So if smaller value is written to the right side of the larger value, we have to add the value. So let us see some examples. Then it will be more easy for you. What does this represent? We represent 5 and this letter represents 1. And 1 is smaller than 5, isn't it? And this smaller value is written to the right of the larger value. So what we have to do? We have to add 5 plus 1 equal to 6. So this is the Roman letter representation of 6. Now let us see the second question. This is the representation of 10 and this is the representation of 1. And 1 is smaller than 10 and 1 is placed to the right side of 10. So what does this Roman letter represent? We can add. What will be the value? 10 plus 1 equal to 11. This is the Roman letter representation of 11. Now see the third question. This is the Roman letter representation of which number? 10. You know, x represents 10. This is also 10. This is also 10. What does V represent? V represent 5. This one represents 1 and this represents 1. And the smaller values are placed to the right of the larger value. So what we have to do? We have to add 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. So what does this Roman letter represent? 10 plus 10 plus 10. What is the value? 30, 35, 36, 37. So this is the Roman letter representation of 37. Now see the next example. C, 5 and 1. 5 and 1 are smaller than C. C represents which value? See here, C represents 100. So 100 plus V represent which value? 5 plus and I represent 1. So this is the Roman letter representation of which number? 100 plus 5 plus 1. So 106. Isn't it easy? So if the smaller value is written to the right of the symbol of larger value, what we have to do? We have to add the values. Now see the next example. L is a representation of which number? L is a representation of 50. You have to study these basic symbols and the corresponding Hindu-Arabic numeral. Okay? It should be by-hearted. So L represents 50 and V represent 5. So 50 plus 5 plus this represent 1. So how many ones are there? 3 ones are there. So this is a representation of which number? 50 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. What will be the answer? 55, 56, 57, 58. So this is a Roman letter representation of 58. Is it clear for you? Now see D and C. What does this Roman letter represent? You know D represents which number? 500. So DC represents 500 plus C represents which number? 100. So DC is a Roman letter representation of which number? 500 plus 100, which is equal to 600. Now let us see the next example. LX51. You know L represent which number? 50 plus X represent which number? 10 plus V represent which number? 5 plus this I represent 1. So this is the representation of which number? 50 plus 10 60 plus 5 65 plus 1 66. So LX5 1 is the Roman letter representation of the Hindu Arabic numeral 66. See this one. C represent which number? 100. L represent 50. X represent which number? 10. And V represent which number? 5. We are adding here. Why? What is the reason for doing addition here? The rule is that if the symbol of smaller value is written to the right of the symbol of a larger value, we have to add the values. See, here are all the smaller values. 50, 10, 5 are all smaller values and it is written to the right side of the larger value 100. So that is why we are adding here. Okay, otherwise we have to subtract. It is the next rule. So we have to check whether the smaller value is placed to the right of the symbol of larger value. Then what we have to do? We have to add. So what will be the answer here? 100 plus 50, 150. 150 plus 10, 160. 160 plus 5, 165. So this is the Roman letter representation of 165. So can you tell this one now? See, M represent which Roman numeral? M represent 1000. So 1000 plus D represent which number? 500 plus C represent which number? 100 plus X represent which number? 10 plus V represent 5 plus these two represents 1. 1 plus 1 equal to 1000 plus 500, 1500, 1600, 1610, 1650 plus 160 plus 170, 1670. So I hope this rule is very much clear for you. So study this rule and do these examples in your notebook. You have to study the rule. Then only it will be easy for you to understand. After studying the rule, you have to do these problems in the notebook.